The nominees for the UK's prestigious film awards were announced. All of the actors nominated are white.
You know, I think the headline #1 is female directors snubbed.
So no women and only one actor of color. One has to assume that the Oscar folks will probably catch some flack for that.
At the Oscars and Baftas this year, there's been a big debate about why there's only been one nomination for a person of colour. At the Baftas, there were none at all. It's not a new issue at all. There have been quite a few false dawns in history. So, for example, in 2001,
Halle Berry.
You had a situation where Halle Berry won first ever Oscar for a Best Lead Female for an African-American actor.
It's for every nameless, faceless woman of color that now has a chance because his door tonight has been opened.
No other black woman or any woman of colour has ever won that award since. I think you've got to the point now where it's kind of like this open joke within the industry. So, for example, when Natalie Portman, I think in 2018, she was reading out the Best Director nominees at the Golden Globes, and she said,
"And here are the all-male nominees."
Because it was understood that that is a category which is completely dominated by men. Similarly, Issa Rae did that this year with the Oscars.
Congratulations to those men.
Also last year when you had Green Book winning, people might look at that and think that's a great moment. Mahershala Ali had won for Best Supporting Actor, and now this wins Best Picture, but a lot of people criticise that. Green Book is a film essentially about a man who is racist. He hangs around with a black man, and after a period of time, by some sort of magical osmosis, becomes less racist. It's the kind of film that a lot of black critics and audience members dismissed as being feeling really out of date. The Grammys has also found itself in deep water in the past. They don't ignore black and minority ethnic talent, but it's very rare that black and minority ethnic talent will win one of the big awards. So Beyonce has been someone who's missed out on numerous occasions.
And the Grammy goes to 25, Adele.
My artist of my life is Beyonce. The Lemonade album was just so monumental, Beyonce.
There are loads of things that can be done to make award shows more diverse. If you've got a big kind of cohort of voters like BAFTAs, they've got 6,700, Oscars have got 8,000 members, you need to do more to change that and make that more diverse and bring it in line with the real world that we live in. So 50-50 gender parity, and then a much higher percentage of ethnic minority people in that cohort. Instead of having an open system where all your members can vote on all the films, even if they've not watched them, you could have a system where you have a much smaller chapter of voters who have to watch all the films before they can vote on them and draw up a shortlist. That shortlist can then be opened up to the rest of the voters, and then they can make the final call. Another thing that could be done is to cap the promotional spend for films, so that would level the playing field. So if you're a smaller independent film and you're trying to mount an Oscars push, at the moment you are an absolute minnow compared to some of those big sharks. So if you're on Netflix and you've got billions of dollars, you can splash the cash and you can have a huge promotional push for stuff like, you know, The Irishman this year, or Marriage Story, or The Two Popes, or whatever your film is. And if you're a smaller studio, you're having to put all your eggs in one basket, maybe, for example, with one film, because that's all the money you've got. Some academics have suggested a slightly more extreme measure could be taken, and that's introducing some sort of legal framework which would require awards shows to be diverse, and if they don't, they could be liable to legal action. We do see that in other areas of life. If there's inequality in the workplace, for example, you do have a legal recourse. You can look throughout the history of the Oscars, there's only 5 women who've ever been nominated for the Best Director category. So if you're introducing something which requires these awards shows to actually have diversity in them, why is that an issue? Why is that a problem? That's what you'd expect an awards show to do, which claims to have equality at its core. And at the moment, obviously, the system is not working, so a dramatic change might be what's needed.